My name is Daniel Reyes, a field xenogeologist assigned to Outpost K, 17 on the barren moon of Orpheon 3. The place was a lifeless rock floating at the edge of mapped space, no atmosphere to speak of, no organic life, nothing but ancient stone formations and strange electromagnetic anomalies that had drawn the attention of the United Colonial Authority. We were there to study those anomalies. At least, that's what they told us. The truth? We were there because something had been found buried deep beneath the surface. Something old, something not made by human hands. I had been on Orpheon 3 for 6 weeks when the incident happened. We had just drilled into a newly detected chamber about 2 kilometers below the surface. The scans showed smooth artificial walls, impossible in a place that had never supported life. Naturally, Command wanted answers. Naturally, I was sent down. The descent elevator groaned as it lowered me into the darkness. My helmet display flickered with readings: temperature stable, pressure stable, radiation negligible. Too stable. It didn't make sense. When the elevator doors opened, I stepped into a massive underground chamber illuminated by our temporary floodlights. The walls were smooth, curved, almost organic in shape, like the inside of a living organism frozen in time. And at the center of the chamber stood a structure. It was tall, slender, almost humanoid, but not quite. Metallic, yet somehow soft in appearance. Symbols, if they were symbols, ran across its surface, pulsing faintly with a soft blue glow. I took a step forward. Then I heard something. Footsteps. Impossible. No one else was scheduled to be down here. Hello. I called out, my voice echoing unnaturally through the chamber. Silence. Then, from behind the structure, she stepped into view. At first, I thought she was human. She looked like a woman in her mid-20s, tall and slender, with long dark hair that seemed to float slightly as if unaffected by gravity. Her skin had a faint luminescence, and her eyes were wrong. They were too bright, too aware. She wore no suit, no protection. And yet she was breathing, alive. Impossible. We stared at each other for a long moment. Then she spoke. Daniel. My blood ran cold. I hadn't introduced myself. I hadn't even activated my comms. How do you know my name? I asked, my voice trembling despite my best efforts. She tilted her head slightly, studying me like I was the strange one. Because, she said softly, I've been looking for you. Middle. I should have called it in immediately. Protocol demanded it. Unknown life form. Potential threat. Immediate evacuation and containment. But I didn't. Something about her presence, it didn't feel threatening. It felt familiar. I don't understand, I said, taking a cautious step closer. Who are you? She smiled faintly. I was hoping you would remember. Remember what? She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she walked past me, her movements graceful and deliberate, and placed her hand on the strange structure in the center of the chamber. The symbols lit up brighter. The air around us seemed to hum. You've been here before, she said. I shook my head. That's impossible. This is my first deployment to Orpheon 3. She turned to face me again. No, she said gently. Not this version of you. My stomach dropped. What does that mean? She stepped closer now, close enough that I could see the intricate patterns in her eyes. Fractals of light that seemed to shift and move. You don't remember the other timelines, she said. That's unfortunate. Other timelines? I repeated, my voice rising. What are you talking about? She reached out slowly, as if approaching a frightened animal, and placed her hand against my helmet. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, pain. Blinding, searing pain exploded in my head as images flooded my mind. I saw myself standing in this same chamber. But it was different. The structure was active, fully illuminated, alive with energy. And she was there, not standing calmly like now, but injured, weak, leaning against me. "You came back," she whispered in the vision. "I told you I would," I heard myself reply. The memory shattered. I staggered back, gasping for breath. What was that?" I demanded. "A memory," she said. "One of many." "That's not possible," I said, shaking my head. "I've never been here before." "In this timeline, no," she agreed. "But in others, you found me much sooner." I stared at her, my mind struggling to process what she was saying. "Timelines," I said slowly. "You're saying there are multiple versions of reality?" "Yes." "And you know me from those?" "Yes." I let out a hollow laugh. "This is insane." "Is it?" she asked calmly. "Or is it simply beyond what your species currently understands?" I didn't have an answer. Instead, I asked the question that mattered most. "Why me?" Her expression softened. "Because you're the only one who ever tried to help me." She explained everything, or at least everything she could. Her name, she said, was Lyra. She wasn't human. Her species existed across multiple timelines simultaneously, not bound by a single linear reality like we were. They could perceive and, under certain conditions, move between different versions of existence. Orpheon 3, it turned out, wasn't just a dead moon. It was an anchor point, a place where the boundaries between timelines were thin. The structure in the chamber? It was a gateway, a device built by her people long ago to stabilize and navigate those boundaries. But something had gone wrong. In every timeline she had experienced, the gateway eventually destabilized, triggering a cascade that collapsed multiple realities into one another. A catastrophe on a scale I couldn't even comprehend. "In most timelines," she said quietly, "your species never discovers this place in time to stop it. And in the ones where we do?" I asked. She looked at me. "In those you try to save me." A strange warmth spread through my chest. "And do I succeed?" Her silence was answer enough. Over the next few hours, she showed me more. Fragments of other lives. Other versions of myself. In one, I was a soldier sent to secure the site. In another, a scientist who activated the gateway prematurely. In another, I never made it to Orpheon 3 at all. But in every version where we met, there was a connection, a bond, something deeper than logic or reason. And in every version we failed. "Why show me this?" I asked finally. "If it always ends the same way, what's the point?" "Because this timeline is different," she said. "How?" She hesitated. "For the first time, you don't remember me at all." I frowned. "Isn't that a bad thing?" "Maybe," she said. "Or maybe it means we're not repeating the same mistakes." Climax. The alarm started 3 hours later. At first, it was a low hum, barely noticeable. Then the structure began to glow brighter. Too bright. Lyra's expression changed instantly. "It's starting," she said. "What is?" "The collapse." The chamber trembled. Cracks of light began to form in the air itself, like reality was fracturing. "Can we stop it?" I asked. She looked at me, fear evident for the first time. "In every other timeline we tried. And this time," she took a deep breath. "This time, we do it differently." "How?" She stepped toward the structure. "The gateway needs a stabilizing consciousness, someone to anchor it while it recalibrates." I frowned. "Okay, so do it." "I can't," she said. "Why not?" "Because I exist across timelines," she said. "If I try to anchor it, it will amplify the instability." A horrible realization hit me. "You're saying I have to do it?" She didn't deny it. "And what happens if I do?" She hesitated. "In most outcomes, you don't survive." I laughed nervously. "That's not very reassuring." "But in some," she added, You do. Some isn't exactly comforting odds. No, she agreed softly, but it's better than zero. The chamber shook violently now. Pieces of rock began to fall from the ceiling. We don't have much time, she said. I looked at the structure, at the swirling light, the impossible energy tearing reality apart. Then I looked at her. You knew this would happen, I said. Yes. And you still brought me here. I didn't bring you, she said. You always come. That should have made me angry. Instead, it didn't. Because deep down, I knew she was telling the truth. I stepped toward the structure. Tell me what to do. Ending. The moment I touched the gateway, everything changed. The world dissolved into light. Time, if it even existed anymore, stretched and twisted around me. I felt everything. Every version of myself. Every choice. Every path. Every failure. And at the center of it all, Lyra. In every timeline she was there. Waiting. Fighting. Hoping. I understood now. This wasn't just about stopping a collapse. It was about breaking a cycle. A loop we had been trapped in across countless realities. You have to let go. Her voice echoed in my mind. Let go of what? I asked. Of me. The realization hit like a shockwave. In every timeline, I had tried to save her. And in doing so, I had caused the very collapse we were trying to prevent. This time, she said, her voice fading, you have to choose differently. My chest tightened. I don't want to lose you. You won't, she said softly. Not really. The light intensified. The fractures in reality began to close, but slowly. Too slowly. It wasn't enough. I had to make a choice. For the first time across infinite timelines, I did something different. I let her go. When I woke up, I was back on the surface. Rescue teams surrounded me, shouting questions, scanning for injuries. The excavation site was gone. Collapsed. Buried. No sign of the chamber. No sign of the structure. No sign of her. Daniel, can you hear me? Someone shouted. I nodded weakly. What happened down there? I opened my mouth to answer, but the truth felt distant, like a dream fading upon waking. I don't know, I said. And for the first time, it was true. Weeks later, I returned to Earth. Life went on. Reports were filed. The incident was classified. Officially, nothing had been found on Orpheon 3. But sometimes, late at night, I feel it. A presence. A memory just out of reach. And once, just once, I heard a voice. Soft. Familiar. Daniel. I turned quickly, but no one was there. Still, I smiled, because somehow, I knew, this time, we finally broke the cycle. And somewhere in some version of reality, she remembers me.